Hey guys, so going to talk about Iggy and Scorch today. He's the new hero from Paragon. And just starters, before we get into anything, look at this character model. Even on my pretty crappy PC, he looks wicked. This must be the best character model in the game so far. Animates really nicely. I just think like whoever was in charge of making this, really good job at Epic, guys, and he looks fantastic. Now, let's get to his abilities. So Iggy and Scorch, they're ranged, I'd say kind of lane annoyance, that kind of thing. Let's get into his abilities. Ignite, this is his passive. Fire damage to enemies with oil, applies a burn. So I don't know exactly what this burn is. I assume it's some form of damage over time kind of thing. Which I reckon I haven't been able to find out any figures about how much damage this does, but I do think that it won't do a whole lot of damage, it'll stop them from getting away and entering that travel mode. So you know, that's always pretty helpful. Now his basic attack, not so basic as it turns out. So at first it's kind of ranged basic attack, dealing 45 energy damage. But it doesn't say it here. But if you hit the ground with this, it will create an area on that ground where you hit, where maybe for a second or two, you'll see like a really cool particle effect on it, and any enemy that runs over that will get damaged. It's not a lot of damage. At the start, it's just like kind of 1 damage a second or so. But it's really handy in stopping people get away through travel mode and things like that. So although it says basic attack, not so basic. Actually, really awesome. So now to oil trail. So this is your right click. This is your escapability mainly. So Scorch gains 120 max movement speed, leaving behind a trail of oil. So this, again, the max speed bonus is really helpful for getting away. It can kind of be used as an escape mechanism. But more importantly, it can be used as well to catch up to other enemy heroes. As well as you can just kind of surround people with this, or just try and run straight through the middle of the battlefield, and then use your left click or one of your other abilities to light it behind you, and you can deal down a lot of damage out very quickly to a lot of the enemy team with it, if you use it quite strategically in team fights. So it's a really useful, really awesome ability. Now then, onto his Q. This is awesome. It's called Flame Turret. It's a deployable turret that deals 200 energy damage over 10 seconds. So of course at the start that's what, 20 energy damage a second. The thing with this is, so first of all, I'm not certain on this, but I'm pretty sure you've got a cap of 3 of these. I think if you put a 4th one out, it'll like remove the first one you put in. And also, see, it says 15 seconds there, and I think that's 15 seconds at the start. But I've found that when I get into games, I reduce this to 0, and that's, for me, that's really important, because then you can just spam out 3 of them. They can clear out lanes while you do something else. You can also use this ability is wicked for when enemies are trying to push down on the tower and they're lurking like just outside of the tower radius. You can use this you can whack a load of turrets down, and then they're of course restricted straight away as to how close to the tower they can be even more. So it's really good with that. It's also really good for attacking enemy towers, because you can block them out inside the tower radius. So you can cause aggro and things like that with them. One thing to say about them, they don't have a whole lot of health. In fact, they're very easy to destroy, so that is something to be wary of. But of course, if an enemy is attacking them, they're not attacking you, so it is a distraction. Onto his E, Oil Trap. Applies oil and deals 80 energy damage when ignited by fire. I like this ability because, again, it ignites them, it'll apply the burn, and deals extra damage. And with the burn, of course, it stops them from getting away. If I'd say anything about Iggy and Scorch, they make it very difficult for enemies to get away from a gank. Very difficult indeed. If you're tactical about it and they're like out of position, they really, how can I put it? They really struggle to get away, because they can't, like, Iggy and Scorch just removes travel mode from them. They can't go into that sprint, that high speed mode. So it's really easy for you and your other allies to just gun them down. Now onto his ultimate, which by the way is awesome. It's called Flamethrower. So it deals 450 energy damage, that's a lot of energy damage, over 2.5 seconds, then causes knockback. So in my opinion, for this, like, a large amount of damage over 2.5 seconds is massive, absolutely huge. With regards, it's kind of like a cone outside of Iggy and Scorch, so you can keep it focused on people really easily. Of course, because it's a cone, it's also kind of A&E. The A&E? No, it's not accident and emergency, it's AOE, area of effect, so you can strategically get quite a few people in there. As far as the knockback goes, I think the knockback is really awesome, but I see a lot of people using it incorrectly. So when it comes down to the knockback, a lot of people, what I see they do is they'll deal a shit ton of damage to the enemy heroes, and then they'll knock them away to the point where they can't get to them. They can't really deal that much damage. I suppose it's good for saving allies, but if you're going for a gank, if you fuck this up, you can accidentally save them because you can kind of give them a way out. However, it can be really useful if you get behind them. If you position yourself correctly, you can then knock them into your allies, and your allies can just tear them down, and you can force them out of position, which is, of course, really cool. Now here we have Iggy and Scorch in action. So ideally, as I said before, you really want them in either a lane or in a kind of roaming kind of thing, because of the turrets and the extra oil and whatnot you throw out. Really good at causing irritation for the enemy. Now here you can see his ult, that giant flamethrower that just seemed to melt them, which is real. There's his turret as well, gets the final kill there. But you saw how quickly that flamethrower just seemed to tear them apart. It does do a lot of damage. Do be wary of its range though. It's got some range, but it's not huge, and I find a lot of people are kind of foolish and just miss it completely. Now here we can see we're defending a tower here, and just by throwing out these flamethrowers, it's so easy to defend. It's so easy to defend. So for me, this is the first hero who's really good at defending towers and really restricting the amount of push and movement and force that the enemy can put on you. Oh, there's the ult again. There's the ult again. I've just done exactly what I don't like other people doing, where I've foolishly that was his oil throw out there. I think that's his E ability. But with the ult I just used, I kind of foolishly did it where I ulted and then I just fired him directly away from me when he was on low health, which gave him just a better chance of escape. Fortunately he didn't, but it is something to take into consideration because, well, if in my opinion, all of this dude or these guys' abilities do need to be used carefully, because in the right hands they're absolutely phenomenal, but if you just kind of using them half-heartedly and you're out of position, then they're gonna be worthless. Like the oil trail on your right click is really awesome as long as you use it effectively, and when you ignite it, you catch people in it. If not, it's just gonna be a giant waste altogether. Of course, dude. You have to remember, a lot of people I don't think realize this, but you can use your left click to ignite things. You use your main click's like your left click, sorry, is like beautiful escape there. I do hope I get away without something ridiculous. Oh, I do, just, look at that, that's handy. Sorry, I'm gonna stop sucking my own dick for a bit and get back to it. So yeah, as you just saw, like his abilities are really awesome, but they need to be used properly, or else, like, you're gonna miss with them. You're not gonna get the damage you need off, and you're not gonna cause the annoyance and the irritation and the difficulty for the enemy team. Like there, Iggy and Scorch just there. He used his ult and he didn't catch anyone with him. He just used it foolishly, and it's got a long cooldown. I think its cooldown's initially on like 100 seconds, which is a minute and a half. No, it's a minute and 40 seconds. That's dumb. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, you do need to. In the good hands, this hero is awesome. In foolish hands, this hero is just a wasted load of opportunity. There's the ult again, and you see that knockback, the damage it did. It melted Gideon even when he was in his ult, when he had an extra boost of his shield. So it's just phenomenal. So in terms of, I'll move into the cards. In terms of the cards, at the start, of course, you need health, mana potions, harvester key, or sentry, or not sentry, or just a ward, depending on what kind of role you're playing and how you're fitting into the team. Then I like to get this little thing here. This of course gives you health, mana, and also cooldown reduction, which I think is really helpful early on. Oh no, I've died. That's bad. Anyway, back to the cards. So yeah, health, mana, and cooldown reduction on that one there. I personally think it's really useful, really helpful. You don't need a whole lot, in my opinion, of cooldown reduction, but that initial burst does help. Then I like to get things with health and damage, because I feel like health is a real, like, if you're stunned, your extra movement speed, right click, isn't worth anything, so you are at times easily gankable. But like health, for me, this guy just needs the basics. He needs a little bit of cooldown reduction at the start, and then a lot of energy damage, and then bits of health and mana here and there to suit it up. What's that Gideon doing? He's just dived in with like no health. Some of the people on this game. I understand it's a new game, but come on now, it's just foolishness. So yeah, this hero, because this hero is pretty basic, he's actually really complicated to use, like, if you want, because you can be absolute baller with this guy. I've played games, and I've seen other people play games where they just tear shit up with him. He kind of restricts any of the team, like the opposite team, from like moving, and like you can clear lanes without even beating them. You can just run into lanes, drop a load of turrets, and then fuck off elsewhere. Like that, I've just like kind of ran straight up to them, instantly put down 3 turrets, melted the whole wave. Now I'm going to take out this retard's turret, and job done. Job done. So yeah, this is Iggy and Scorch. Awesome hero, loving him. Think he's really good. I think he's the first character design in a while that I thought, you know, that's quite interesting. That's like completely different to any of the other heroes at the moment. So I really like this guy. It's a good addition, well played, epic. Again, character model just looks fantastic, animates beautifully. And thank you very much for watching, guys. If you want to like and comment and all that jazz, do hit me up. Of course, if you don't want to, don't do it. I'm going to force you to do something you don't want to do. Always a pleasure, guys. Take it easy. Oh boy.